let's go to this heartwarming story because this story almost choked me up. So, 1986, a 5-year-old Indian boy was traveling with his older brother. Not sure how old his brother was. Working as a sweeper on India's trains. Guess his brother was one of the sweepers. It was late at night. We got off the train. I was so tired that I just took a seat at a train station and I ended up falling asleep. I thought my brother would come back and wake me up. When I awoke, he was nowhere to be seen. I saw a train in front of me and thought he must be on that train, so I decided to get on it and hoped that I would meet my brother. The kid's 5 years old. He didn't meet his brother on that train. Instead, he fell asleep and woke up 14 hours later. He didn't realize it, but he had arrived in Calcutta, India's third biggest city and incredibly poor city and full of slums. He basically just started to look for people and ask questions. He didn't know what to do. He became a beggar at 5 years old. There are tons of kids begging on the streets in Calcutta. Ultimately, he was taken in by an orphanage, which put him up for adoption, and he was adopted by an Australian family. Well, I guess they're from Tasmania, but I believe that's the same country. And he says, I accepted I was lost and I could not find my way back home, so I thought it was great that I was going to Australia. He didn't know where he lived. And he never knew the name of his town. He was, like many 5-year-olds, literate. And so 25 years later, he decided he needed to find his family. All he had were vivid memories of being a 5-year-old, so he began to use Google Earth to figure out where he was born. And so he multiplied the time that he was on the train, which we knew was about 14 hours, with the speed of Indian trains, and he came up with a rough distance, about 1,200 kilometers. He then drew a circle on a map with its center in Calcutta, with its radius about the distance he thought he had traveled. Incredibly, he soon discovered he was looking for Khandwa. He said, when I found it, I zoomed down and bang, it just came up. I navigated it all the way from the waterfall where I used to play as a kid. So he traveled to Khandwa, the town that he discovered online. He found his way around the town with childhood memories. Eventually, he found his own home in the neighborhood of Ganesh Talai, but it was not what he had hoped for. I guess he shows up, the house was boarded up. So he had a picture of him as a child. He started asking questions of people. Eventually, he got to one person who said, stay right here. The guy came back. He said, I'm going to bring you to your mother. 25 years later. At first, he did not recognize her. The last time I saw her, she was 34 years old and a pretty lady. I had forgotten that age would get the better of her. But the facial structure was still there, and I recognized her, and I said, yes, you are my mother. She grabbed my hand and took me to her house. She could not say anything to me. It was like she was as numb as I was. She had a bit trouble grasping that her son, after 25 years, had just reappeared like a ghost. Although she had feared that he was long dead, a fortune teller had told the boy's mother that one day she would see her son again. And the only sort of really horrible part of this story is that he said he left India sad because his brother apparently was found a month later dead, basically sliced in half by a train. But the guy still keeps in touch with his long-lost family, and he found them over Google Earth. Just an amazing story from the BBC. Amazing.